at UFC Fight Night 137, which took place on September 22, 2018, Oliveira competed against Christos Giagos, a returning veteran. In the second round, he won the bout by forcing his opponent to submit. Oliveira has now surpassed Royce Gracie as the fighter with the most submission victories in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. This triumph won him the Performance of the Night award. Welcome back to the MMA Club. In today's video, we will discuss Charles Oliveira and his streak of winning continuously 11 times. Number 1. Charles Oliveira vs. Clay Gaethje. On June 9, 2018, at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. While the crowd was firmly behind Clay Gaethje, it was Charles Oliveira who emerged victorious and with a piece of UFC history. A wounded Gaethje shot inside after a particularly tense exchange that included a stiff Oliveira jab, falling directly into his opponent's guillotine choke. At the 2:18 mark of the first round, Oliveira squeezed tight as he dropped to guard, turning to his right side and forcing Gaethje to tap. The submission victory was Oliveira's 10th in the UFC, tying him with UFC Hall of Famer Royce Gracie for the most wins via tap-out in company history. Number 2. Charles Oliveira vs. Christos Giagos. The fight held in Ginásio do Ibirapuera, São Paulo, Brazil, on September 22, 2018. Round 1. Giagos was out to shock the world by defeating Oliveira. He jumped around and looked for the early knees to the face. Giagos pushed Oliveira back with a combination. Giagos was knocked down, but got back to his feet immediately. Round 2. Oliveira started off with 2 spinning back kicks. He then launched another jumping knee into the clinch. Giagos came into the fight with a measured approach, and he stuck to it. Oliveira launched some midsection kicks and took Giagos down. Result: Charles Oliveira defeated Christos Giagos via submission. Rear naked choke. Second round, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Number 3. Charles Oliveira vs. Jim Miller. Inside Pfizer Forum, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on December 15, 2018. Miller stepped in southpaw, threw a low kick, and Oliveira grabbed a body lock and threw Miller to the ground. He grabbed Miller's back and threatened to rear naked choke him. He got under Miller's chin and forced him to tap. Charles Oliveira already had the most submissions in UFC history, but he just added another, avenging a close loss. Following that, he picked Miller up on his shoulders, with Miller congratulating him. After thanking Jesus and his team in Portuguese, Oliveira apparently asked Dana White for a chance to fight Max Holloway at featherweight. That makes no sense, given that he was unable to consistently make featherweight and Max had already beaten him. A perplexing count, but a fantastic victory for Charles Oliveira at lightweight. Number 4. Charles Oliveira vs. David Teymur. This fight was held in Northeast Olympic Training Center, Fortaleza, Brazil, 2 February 2019, in which Charles Oliveira held bows, chokes out David Teymur. Oliveira opened with the leg kick, which Teymur returned. Teymur walked forward and threw a high kick, but the referee stopped the bout immediately for a blatant double-eye poke by Teymur. After the fight, Oliveira said in rapid-fire Portuguese that he didn't think Teymur meant to poke him in the eyes. He said he's not the best, he's just number 1. He said people claim he's just a grappler, but he's got dangerous striking too. He said he wants to fight in Miami in April. Number 5. Charles Oliveira vs. Nick Lentz. Inside Blue Cross Arena, Rochester, New York, on May 18, 2019. Charles Oliveira knocked out Nick Lentz in a trilogy fight at UFC Rochester. Oliveira dominated this fight from the start. In typical fashion, Du Bronx threatened with submissions throughout, but it was his superior striking game that won this fight. In round 2, Oliveira intercepted a kick from Lentz and immediately countered with a straight right hand down the pipe. The punch connected flush with Lentz's chin. Carney fell to the canvas, and Oliveira landed some follow-up hammer fists before being pushed off for the stoppage. Number 6. Charles Oliveira vs. Jared Gordon. This fight was held in Ginásio do Ibirapuera, São Paulo, Brazil, on November 16, 2019. While Oliveira is well known for his submission prowess, the shrewd veteran also packs a punch on the feet. When Gordon began to advance with punches, Oliveira used this against him along the cage. Du Bronx caught Gordon off guard with a vicious right counter that knocked him out. When Gordon began to rise, Oliveira blasted him with a vicious uppercut. Gordon retreated into the cage, and Oliveira landed one last right hand. Number 7. Charles Oliveira vs. Kevin Lee. At Nilson Nelson Gymnasium, Brasilia, Brazil, on 14 March 2020. Charles Oliveira submits Kevin Lee with a guillotine choke. Oliveira opens with a jump kick and left hook. Oliveira chops the lead leg and then scores a front kick to the jaw. Lee lands a 1-2 and eats a jab. Hard low kick connects for Oliveira. The two trade crisp right hands. Oliveira lands a jab low kick and Lee counters with a body shot. Oliveira attempts a takedown but winds up on his back. Immediately, he transitions to a heel hook. After a scramble, Lee lands in the top position. Oliveira goes back to the leg and briefly attempts a calf slicer. Still, Lee maintains the top position. Oliveira throws up a full triangle, but Lee counters and nearly takes the back. Oliveira threatens a sweep, but Lee powers back into full guard. Lee lands a trio of heavy punches from above Oliveira. Lee finishes the round with elbows from within the guard. Number 8. Charles Oliveira vs. Tony Ferguson. On 12 December 2020 at UFC Apex, Nevada, United States, Charles Oliveira beats Tony Ferguson via decision in UFC 256 co-main event. As expected, Ferguson and Oliveira were quick to start shooting at each other as soon as the fight began. Ferguson was the early aggressor, but Oliveira was no match for him as he cracked the Brazilian with a couple of hard punches. Just before the horn sounded, Oliveira was caught in an armbar and the submission was completely locked in. But Ferguson fought through it until the round was over. Ferguson's elbow was clearly injured, but he refused to give up. Number 9. Charles Oliveira vs. Michael Chandler. On 15 May 2021 at Toyota Center, Houston, Texas, Michael Chandler is knocked out in the second round by Charles Oliveira. Chandler initially cracked Oliveira, forcing Du Bronx to grab a takedown and eventually take Chandler's back. Chandler defended brilliantly and rose to his feet. Chandler then caught Oliveira with a series of punches and knocked him to the ground. Chandler then used heavy ground and pound to nearly end the fight. Oliveira came out swinging in round 2 and caught Chandler with a vicious left hook. Chandler attempted to recover, but Oliveira pounced on him with a flurry of crisp punches. Oliveira walked away with the UFC lightweight title after a barrage of left hands along the cage. Number 10. Charles Oliveira vs. Dustin Poirier. On 11 December 2021 at T-Mobile Arena, Paradise, United States, Charles Oliveira successfully defended his UFC lightweight title against Dustin Poirier, extending his winning streak to 9 fights. In the third round, the Brazilian Phenom submitted Poirier with a rear naked choke. Dustin Poirier will be hurt the most by the fact that he was defeated by a rear naked choke in both of his attempts to win UFC lightweight gold. The first time was in September 2019 at UFC 242 against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Number 11. Charles Oliveira vs. Justin Gaethje. On 8 May 2022 at Footprint Center, Phoenix, Arizona, Gaethje dropped Oliveira in the opening moments of the round, and it appeared that the round would end there, but Oliveira was able to get back to his feet and continue the fight, stunned. The fight briefly went to the ground, but Gaethje refused to fight on the ground, so he forced the fight back to the feet. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to smash the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Thanks for watching.